Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me in this time and space. I am Nikki S. Salas, your spiritual guide, well-being educator, inspiration giver, author, and all that other good stuff. And this channel is about finding more ways to exist. We want to thrive, you all. So this is the first episode of the new podcast, The Heal Spot, and I am so in joy right now to have our first guest, Patricia Wilson, and she's going to tell you all about her. She will be sharing how she is in her process of healing from divorce and all the beautiful things that Miss Patricia is doing, because she's doing all kind of stuff. She's doing real estate in multiple states now, you all. And I'm gonna make sure that I leave her information in the links below. And we also going to share how we met, which is a beautiful story.
Yes, it is. It really
So
is.
welcome, my beautiful
Yay.
spiritual sister, Patricia.
Yay. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Tell everyone about yourself.
Okay. Well, as you know, Nikki mentioned, my name is Patricia. And man, I met Nikki so long. I feel like it was so long ago because I experienced so much in that time. But I am originally from Miami, living in Atlanta. At the moment, I am a associate broker now because I'm not only a realtor, but I'm an associate broker now.
Yes.
And I specialize in probate. I also do property management. I also do investment. I have Airbnbs that I started a couple of years ago as well.
A beautiful Airbnb, by the way.
And I'm able to help anybody buy and sell, around the world, really, because of Remax is the company that I'm under. My license is under right now. So I'm so excited to be here and just to tell you guys a little bit about me. As Nikki knows, I am an open book. Hence, unlike how we started things off. And we'll kind of go from there.
Okay.
Whatever you want to ask me, I'm an open book.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Again, yes, this is called the Heal Spot, but I really I don't want it just to be only me sharing my stories, though it could be, many of them, but I want people to really hear other people's experience, and so they can have something to connect to and say, oh, okay, so this person, went through this and this is how they're overcoming it. Because it is my knowing that, first of all, we all have stories, right? We all will experience life differently while we're on this planet, and how we choose to go on this journey, it's up to us, right? We will experience different hardships. I choose not to say so much of pain, not to saying that pain is not, there, or it does not exist, but I want people to know of how we could get to the other side of it. Because when we stay in pain, like even when I would deal with the different patients, and I, would tell them, the more that you're staying in pain, let's do something to, make this pain go down. Because the more you staying in pain, your pressure goes up, your heart rate goes up, just your body is consistently in a state of stress, and that creates inflammation, disease, and everything. The way that we heal is allowing, ourselves doing different things, methods, tools, so we can be in a more what's called homeostasis state, and that actually produces healing. So we're not supposed to stay bruised, y'all. We're gonna have bruises and scars, and we could tell of those bruises and scars, but the more we keep getting, like bruised from someone, boxing. My children used to box all the time. And sometimes they would have to sit down a while after a fight, because you don't want
You
to
gotta heal.
you gotta heal.
Exactly.
It's like that's the same black eye. So real quick, I want to share our beautiful story of how I met who I call my sister now. We had met at a expo in Atlanta,
Mhm.
and just this beautiful ray of light. And of course, she's a Virgo, though everybody is beautiful, no matter what their sign is. But this beautiful woman came and we spoke, we chatted, and later on, she created a event called Steps to Empower Her, where she would have spaces for people to share their story to empower other women. And here she is again, as she was doing before, still empowering not only women but people, all people, in the way of helping them to whatever that they envision in their home. She is helping to empower them to create that space for them too. So I just want to applaud you for just still being the beautiful human being that you are.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do feel like I like educating my clients and
Mm-hmm.
then, using my story of how I became a homeowner to kind of
Mm-hmm.
help them become a homeowner. Because I think, especially sometimes in our community, we think it's not possible
Mm-hmm.
to become a homeowner. There's a lot of myths out there on, you need, 20% down, all everything that you can imagine, people are talking about when it comes to home ownership. But I
Mm-hmm.
just like to educate, and I guess by me doing steps to empower her a couple of years ago, that kind of helped me be able to be like that educator. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, educating as far as healing, whenever you're going
Yes.
through things, and then it just kind of jumped into real estate too, not thinking that it was, but I guess,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes God prepares you for things
Yes.
and you don't even know what's coming up next.
Yes, just allow yourself to just to let the process unfold, because it's all
Yes,
beautiful, right? It's just all,
right.
it's like we think, going back to what I was saying before, and if someone choose to call their episodes or the different things that they experience in life as pain, then then so be it. But even these moments that we have in life, whether it be pain, hardships, challenge, and so forth, it's if you allow yourself to see what can unfold in it, and like you were saying, okay, God, I don't know what this is about, but I'm trusting that that this is going to work out to the best of me or for me. And then later on, you get on the other side of it, you was like, oh,
You're right.
that's what you was doing. Oh, I'm
Exactly.
sorry.
This is what you were preparing me for.
Right. And you get all these beautiful lessons from it, just like you were saying before, your road to buying a home, your experience, your experience is a gift, something that you take on because it's more than just having knowledge, right? We have wisdom because we have to experience what we know, So like even when you sat down for to get your license for real estate, you had to actually go out there and work as a realtor, right? As a broker and property management owner, all of this in order to show other people, teach other people, educate other people. But how can you even really know how to teach it to someone unless you went through it yourself? Because that's that knowing. It's like, oh yeah, I've been there, yeah, so you're gonna do this and do that, and
Right.
but just directing someone is something different. So I want you to share with everyone of like including um, the home buying process with your breakup, your divorce. Share with other people of like um, how you heal from that. Not only the divorce, but how just share the story. I should say.
Yes.
I want you
Well, I do want to go back to talk about how we met. So I want to give Nikki her flowers. Ooh,
to.
her flowers now because when I first met Nikki, I wasn't in a place where I could afford to actually have a speaker at my events. And I was just very transparent and say, um, I know we don't know each other, but I just feel like a good positive energy around you. And will you be able to, do this for me? I really don't have the money to pay you. And, some people have been like, well, I really want to get paid. But, she's just such a really good person. And she was like, yes. And we did like 3 events together. And they were really, really welcoming to her. And everybody had good feedback. And I mean, I'm always going to be thankful to you for that. And anything you ever need from me, I'm going to be there for you, because I already know how good your heart is. And you're a real good person. It's not just like someone that says that they're a healer and spiritual. You actually walk the walk. So I just want to give you your flowers, today, and tell you that I always will appreciate you for that and love you for that. So going back to the question that you asked. So when I purchased my home, I was actually still married. And like a couple of years before I actually purchased my home, I just started learning about credit. So my credit was like really bad. Didn't even know like a credit score could be that low. I was like in the 400s, and I didn't know that credit even went that low. So I was like, oh my gosh. So when I started like wanting to buy a house, going to lenders, they're like, you can't get a house with your credit score, So I basically taught myself how to fix my credit. And by the time I purchased a home, after learning everything I did, my score was almost at a 700. And then,
wow.
Yes. And then I was trying to get my then husband to, do it with me, but he just let me do everything. And then so when it was time, and another thing God was preparing me for, and I mean, not to speak ugly on it, but it's like I was the only person that was able to put my name on the mortgage because he could not do it because he didn't work for it, And not knowing that a year after I purchased my home, I would be going through a divorce. And another thing that that I was not like, once again, not knowing, I was like, you know what, we should get this house based on one income, because not thinking I was going to get a divorce, but I'm thinking like, okay, with how the economy is, we want to make sure that if one of us lose our job, we'll be able to still pay this mortgage and not have to worry about getting, foreclosed on or whatever the case may be. And literally a year later, we divorced. That was definitely not in the cards. I should say, I was
in
not
your plan, but God,
exactly, that wasn't right. It wasn't my plan. I mean, and not to say that the marriage was like perfect or whatever, but we were working through it, So finally, when I decided to leave, it was like, okay, well, this house is only in my name, so you're gonna have to find somewhere else to stay, and not to go, in the weeds with that, but all of that was in God's plan, because I was able to keep my home. I was able to still afford my home because I stayed within my means. And I didn't try to say, okay, I got approved for this amount, so let me get this extravagant house. I made sure I stayed in a place where I know I could afford it.
Yes.
And so as much as that divorce hurt and everything that went through that, but it was to me a learning experience, because truthfully, I was actually healing as a person within the marriage. So I just started loving myself a little bit more. And so there are things that I was no longer accepting, and it changed the dynamic of the relationship, because when we first started, not realizing I was just so in love, that I had somewhat of an insecurity that I just never knew about. And so as I was learning myself, as I was growing as a person, and then I started connecting with women who were going through a lot of stuff. And I was like, we're all going through something when it comes to like a relationship, or have been through something, or currently in something. And people just kept gravitating to me. So I was like, I need to, be a little bit more aware of that. So that's when the women empowerment thing started, because I was actually self-healing through sharing my story, because a lot of women don't want to share their story because they're afraid of what other women are going to think. But we're all going through the same thing, or have been through the same thing, or, just can relate, in some way. And so I wanted to have that women empowerment event, because I was like, we need to talk about it, because like you said, when you're stressed and you keep all of that, and I definitely was holding, a lot of stuff in that I was embarrassed, or I was, not wanting to talk about, thinking that, okay, let me just pray through it and we're going to be okay. um, thankfully I was able to self-heal during the marriage. So when it was like, when I had enough, it was easy for me to walk away because I had already put in the work as far as to help that marriage work, and then as well as myself. And I was like, you know what? I have too much love for myself to stay in a situation where I'm going to continue to be hurt. I'd rather heal myself. And that's exactly what I did. I started just loving on myself, doing things for myself. I was so busy trying to promote and elevate him and his business. And I didn't even think about mine. Didn't even think about having a business for myself at all, actually, until the woman empowerment thing came in. And I was like, I really like this. This is, really cool. And it just started meeting people that basically got me to where I am today. But I felt like God also was like, I have something more for you, but I need to see that you're ready for it too. Because as soon as I don't want to say as soon as, but as soon as I said, Patricia, pour into yourself, love on yourself, it's just like God opened so many doors for me that I got into real estate by accident. I was in healthcare, and
I remember that.
working at an independent living, and they were like, how did you get this? It was like a apartment kind of for seniors. How did you get this 90% full? And I was just like, just toward them, just be myself, whatever. They were like, well, if you could sell this, you could sell real estate. And I didn't think about it. I was like, maybe.
God was just doing the work on you, just like.
Yes, and no lie, I was like, I'm gonna pray
on
it. Those were my exact words. I'm gonna pray on it. Within that 3 weeks, 3 more people asked me if I ever thought about doing real estate. So that's what got me into real estate.
Confirmation and seeds at the same time.
I was like, God, if this is supposed to be for me, let me know. It was smooth. Passed the test first time. Most people don't pass the test on the first time because it's so much information. I passed the test and I started doing real estate. And so it was like I poured into myself, and that happened. And it's like as soon as we it's like we divorced, and it's like I was able to, and COVID happened. I got laid off, and I thought it was gonna be like
blessing.
Yes, exactly. I thought it was gonna be like, so I'm like, oh my gosh, whatever. I was going crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have a job, da da da. But because I had put so much self-love and healing on me, I was even stressed about it. I was like, okay. I was like, okay. And I mean, literally the same day I got laid off, I got offered another job to the point that I said no, because I was like, this is so fast. And so I was saying no. And then, with COVID, they were like, okay, you can get not only you can get your unemployment because they fired you, you can get, the extra money that they were giving. So I didn't have to work. And so for a long time, then I was like, you know what? I really want to do real estate full time. Like I really do. And then I got another opportunity that was better. And I was still going to be like a 1099 employee, and I'm still going to be able to do real estate. And I told the person, I said, I will help you, but I just want you to know that real estate is where I want to be full time. I can help you because I know the business. I know people. I can get you to where you want to be because it was like a marketing director for for a hospice company.
Okay.
And because I worked in the senior field so long, I had all these contacts, and I know I could get what he needed and what I needed. I was like, okay, at least I can get some money coming in as I'm continuing to build real estate. Long story short, COVID was still happening. He had to lay me off too. Yes.
Bless
so God was like, if this is not a sign, I'm telling you to stop working for people.
Yes. I got something better for you. It's all part of
it's
all part of the process.
Better.
Yes.
Something better. And I was like, once again, not stressed out. I literally got offered a full-time real estate position at a corporate company. So I said I want to do real estate full time, and I want to make sure I could afford to live. And I got offered a position that was like a base pay and commission. Okay. So I was like, okay, God, thank you. This is what I was looking for. I want to do real estate full time. But it's just not in the cards for me to work with people. So this year I decided to, forget corporate, forget, trying to make sure God got me. So I left corporate in February of this year.
Mm-hmm.
I already have made more than what my salary was at my last corporate job.
See what happens when you just let go? You let go of
Yes.
something, because sometimes we like, well, this is what I know. This is what I'm supposed to do. But that's what you believe, right? But if you, to me, and from my own experience, once you start to um find out of the many, because there's so many possibilities out there, right? That there is something better. There is something different than what you're used to. It's like, no, I think I want to keep trying this out over here.
Yes.
Like you said, even with jobs, and for whomever that wants to work a job, many blessings to you. However, I know as well as Patricia know that there are opportunities that align with what you really want, and especially now, in today's time, which it has been there actually before then, but especially in today's time, there are so many different things to do, or how should I would better like to say it, that do what's best for you. And what I mean is, because that's part of the healing too. Like, for a long time for myself, I thought that, oh, a lot of people not, into, spirituality, and, want to talk about holistic living, which is, spirit, emotions, mind, body, learning how to live, to have us in a homeostasis state, just all of this. And I'm like, oh, okay. A lot of people are not into it. But then once I started to really, focus my attention on it, then God would show me, other things of what to do with it, and other people as well. Because like Patricia sharing her story, the reason why we listen to others is to encourage us and to promote us, into a better place in our life. I feel like, I know when you shared with me some time ago of, the divorce, uh, because I just like, just knowing of who you are, like, oh, she's gonna be good. She's gonna be actually great, because she knows how to keep, like, going through. And not to say, that we want to go through these life challenges. We don't
Right.
want to, but in order to get into something better, we have to get the lesson in it. I know for myself, like, because I've been married 3 times, this is my current marriage, right? And my last marriage. In order for me to even understand and know how to be in this marriage, I had to go through the breakups before.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
anything else, like Patricia shared, learning, the breakup of yourself, because I feel like what Patricia shared, when we're not understanding who we are, a value of self, then we're gonna keep rotating out the same product. Which
Yeah.
is a broken relationship,
Yeah.
not only with the person that you're mated with, but the broken relationship of yourself. And
Yeah.
that's what I went through much my teenage years, young adult years, is, hey, let me be with this person no matter what's going on. What, and like you said, you be so in love, so you put them rose colored glasses on, and you
Yeah.
refuse to see, and God is like showing you, no, this, what people may call red flags, is just like, no, I need you to
Yeah.
recognize this. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, but I'm in
Yeah.
love. We're like, okay.
Exactly.
But when you start to really love yourself and understand your worth, your value, it's like, I love you, John Doe, but that's not gonna be accepted in my life.
Exactly. 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 And that's exactly the space that I was in, like in the marriage. And it's bad because I was like, I remember telling one of my friends, I was like, the person who I'm becoming and the person who I am today,
Mm.
I would not have married the person
Ooh.
that I was with.
Okay.
And I was still with him. And I felt bad for even saying that out loud, but that was just my truth at the moment. I was like, I really feel like I could have done better if I was in this space and mental space that I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I wanted my marriage to flourish. I wanted it to be a long, happy marriage, but it's like I was the only one that wanted that.
Mm.
And so I felt okay with leaving that situation because I know that I gave 120% to make sure that it worked. But I also gave that 120% to myself to make sure that I was able to heal properly after. Because when I tell you I attracted, not only like a great career, like I have a great person in my life that I wouldn't have appreciated him if I didn't go through that healing process with my last. And I definitely had to heal because, you know, like I said, I'm transparent. My ex-husband's already married again. He got married maybe like a year after we divorced. And I was like, to me, but everybody's different. He didn't have time to heal. Like we like literally just ended things and then you're like back in a whole other relationship. And then another transparent moment, his current wife is now calling me, asking me how did I do it for that long. So he's not healed, and you keep hurting other people. And that was something else I didn't want to do. I wanted to make sure that I was totally healed before getting into another relationship because I know I probably would have had baggage and not trusting, that next person because of what I went through. But then at the same time, I wanted to heal to make sure that I was ready to give somebody else 120% of me. Because if you're not all the way healed, you're not going to all the way give somebody who you are because you still have like a guard up,
Yeah.
So that healing process for me made it like a transition where I'm just like in a place of peace, which that peace, oh my gosh, like I so happy to be in a place of peace. Like I don't have drama. I don't have like, every relationship has its issues or whatever, but I don't have every day feeling like, oh gosh, how I'm gonna get through this day with this person, or how I'm gonna get through this day with my career, or what I don't. I'm just such in a place of peace. Even when things are not going right, I give myself a couple of hours to be in my feelings, and I just bounce back out of it, and just like, okay, just to keep pushing, But that place of peace is knowing that God got you, like whatever it is. Because when I tell you I took that leap of faith in February, I have been able to consistently close, on real estate. And then I got presented an opportunity to to be a property manager for a 36 unit apartment. And that came out of nowhere. I didn't apply anywhere. I just was myself. And they were like, we need you. You know what I mean? And it was like, these are that if I would have stayed stuck in my head and stayed in corporate, that opportunity, no, number one, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. But number two, it probably wouldn't have got presented to me, because I didn't show God that I was willing to believe in him.
Ooh,
like he believed in me,
And that's the main thing. It's like we want to hold on to all these earthly things, as I say. And the main thing that we should hold and connect to is God. And you keep that connection. I'm here to tell you from my own knowing that you don't have to worry, because we're not supposed to be worrying anyway, right? The more we worry, or when we worry, we actually block, like I said earlier, blood pressure and all these different things go up, and it keeps us from the homeostasis state, which Patricia said is peace. We're supposed to be in peace. So when we are in a calm state, we make better decisions. Our body does, just all overall health, well-being is better. And God is able to flow through you. And when we talk about, blessings, because blessings come in different ways, right? It's not just, the material things, but like just the blessing of having peace, the blessing of within that peace, like Patricia said, being able to come home and you can have rest because you're not worried about, the person that you're with and what they're doing and so forth, which I am, grateful to say I am finally in a relationship within myself and with my husband that I can have that, and I didn't have that in my early years. Every night I was like, oh my God, this, and worrying
Yeah.
her, and to really come home and like let me lay down, and then
Yes.
and really lay down and get real adequate rest. That,
Yes.
and then you wake up refreshed, right? When we get in our rest, oh my God.
It's the
That's,
best thing.
that's the
It's the
biggest
best thing
blessing.
ever. It's the best thing ever. Like I'm like such at a place of peace. It's you don't realize it when you're younger when people say, I just want my peace,
Yes.
you just think it's like a phrase when you're
Right.
younger. Then you go through the mud and see, oh, I see why you like that peace.
Uh-huh. You'd be like, oh, that's the best gift to think, or just thing just to have. And that feeling, I should say, that's the best feeling to have is peace. It's
Yes.
like, and when people say to someone else, be like, oh, you look different, or you look good. That's when somebody has peace, that glow, because
Yes.
it's like this light comes, your light just like really shines through you all around. It's like
Absolutely.
it's something different about you. Like, girl, it's peace.
Yes. 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 And that's exactly what people were saying after, my last relationship. They were like, "Oh my gosh, you're like glowing," and they're like, "You just look so happy." Because I'm like, I am. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Uh-huh.
genuinely happy. It's not like a front. It's not like I'm just trying to smile to get through something. I'm like really happy, and that feeling is the best. Is the best.
So we're gonna hold on this note because she is going to share more of her piece, what she's doing in real estate, and how through her healing, how she attracted her new mate. Stay tuned.